over 9,000!
Gasoline and air mixed together form an explosive mixture. The basic job of the engine is to convert this explosive energy into motion. To contain the explosion, the engine uses a cylinder, and fitting snugly within the cylinder, a piston that slides up and down.
Good evening. Welcome to the ISRC Pro Circuit, sponsored by Big Evil Designs, BED. Tonight's race is race number 4 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. How's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. In the booth with me tonight, I have a guest, which is going to be Michael Campbell. You want to say hi, Michael? Looks like he possibly stepped out for a quick second.
Oh, I forgot I muted my mic because I'm a genius. Hello. I haven't used my Yeti in a while. That's all it is.
It happens, man. It happens. All right. Well, practice is coming to an end. Let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of information and format for this track and race, and then we'll get to a little bit of the banter. So information is the host of the series is Andrew Combs. Broadcasting is done by Death by Moose Media, and commentary is done by me, Randall Alvarez. And then in the guest spot tonight, we have Michael Campbell. Format for tonight's track: we're going to be racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Cup cars is what we're going to drive, and we're going to be doing. Well, they just finished their qualifying. Feature is going to be 70 laps. And they're going to be actually getting rid of the stages. They decided to go full open with this, so no stages. Even though I do have one on the stage or on the scene, we're going to go actually completely green. Or we're going to go for a complete green flag run for 70 laps. So this is going to be pretty interesting.
I mean, yeah, you see the guys taking to the track right now, getting ready for qualifying. When you change the dynamic of a race like that, going from the stages to now going out for a full race, it does change how you approach the race. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the drivers approach that dynamic change in the race. And now it means you're not racing for that next stage. You're racing kind of it's a big picture race now. So we'll see how they approach it as qualifying gets underway.
Yeah, it's going to help out, some of maybe the more experienced drivers because they don't get that restart. Or they don't get that dedicated restart. They don't you can't plan for it anymore. Now you just have to plan for whenever a caution comes out and you got to deal with it, which should allow people that are maybe a little more oriented to driving long runs and conserving fuel, conserving tire, and making their own pit stops. They're hopefully will shine in this type of race.
And you make a good point there, exactly, with the fact that you can't count on that caution coming at lap 40 or lap 45, whenever it would be. Now you have to start thinking about fuel, because now if you have a green flag run, which is very possible on a track like Charlotte, now you have to think about how your fuel is going to last through that run, and then what does that position you to be able to do for the end of the race. So there's a lot of considerations to take into play when you go from a stage oriented format to more of a kind of just open, you're going from flag to flag, green flag to checkered flag format.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna talk a little bit about last race. So last race we had a hiccup at the very end. I'm gonna put him on the gorilla real fast. So Jaden Kratasi is the owner of Midwest Motorsports, the team that's gonna be racing tonight, and they made a pretty crucial error during their race last weekend, and it was they did a short pit at the midway or the comp caution, and then I want to say it was 2 laps to go or 3 laps to go. They decided to all pit because they're out of fuel. A lot of the guys were out of fuel just because the way the pitting strategy went. So, a couple guys did say they pretty much spurted across the finish line. But hopefully it doesn't work out that way. Hopefully we don't get any miscalculations. I think they were expecting a caution because they were coming up. I think it was like 5 laps to go is what it was. And they were expecting a caution to come out. People would race a little hard. but that did not happen. So hopefully no errors of judgment comes out today, and these guys, do their best to really just stay on point with their fuel strategy.
Yeah, and again, when you're working with fuel strategy, the other thing that you have to worry about is those cautions that come out unexpectedly. So I'm looking at qualifying right now. You're looking at the times that are popping up. Everyone's kind of pretty close right now. Kind of the top 10, roughly separated by about 2/10, maybe even a little bit to 3. Seeing Rabbiati at the top of the 29.128, and then Carl Hamburg back there 29.191. So you're seeing the guys be pretty close there. What that tells me is it might be some close racing near the beginning. Will they kind of thin out a bit? That may afford to more of a green flag run, maybe reduce the risk of those cautions there, or are they going to be kind of on top of each other because of the power of the draft at a track like this?
Yeah, honestly, we're going to have to see how that just goes out because, draft is going to play a huge factor. But
absolutely.
With the size of the field, too, we're probably going to see, most likely 2 packs fold out, but we could see a single line run between those 2 packs of people just kind of, playing a little bit leapfrog.
Yeah, when you're racing here at Charlotte, especially of late with this new model, this new version of the track, and all those different factors, you're kind of seeing people not run toward the bottom as much. They're running more that middle groove, and as those tires fall off, they're shifting higher and higher, getting next to that wall, so they can keep the car kind of wound up. It's all about keeping the momentum going at this track, so getting next to that wall, climbing the hill in the apex, and then coming down off the top of 2 or the exit of 4, those can be really key to kind of keep those cars up. So look for drivers to kind of fight for that real estate. I think that's where we see a lot of the cautions occur right there around the exit of 2 going down the backstretch as people kind of switch lanes there, and then the exit of 4 coming down through the tri over there. Kind of might see some close racing right there. Maybe some fights for real estate as well.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, and then just depending on how everyone drives tonight, that's also going to play a huge factor if people are going to really get on the guns and push hard, or if they're going to kind of just pace themselves.
Patience. It's all about patience when you're running an 80-lap race here. And the thing is, when you have that draft, it brings you up so quickly. You kind of get that itch under you, like, okay, I'm here in 5th, but I can kind of maybe make a move, get to 4th or 3rd, and you kind of maybe push the issue maybe a little more than you probably would in a different situation. And that's where we get these cautions coming from. So we'll see what kind of mindset these guys are in once we get the race going.
Well, I
think, then of course. Oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's why Andrew Combs decided to push off the stage to maybe force these guys out of the mindset of a short run or hopping to the first stage and then then playing cautious the rest of the race. Taking away that stage should force these guys hopefully into a mindset of, hey, we're playing long ball here, or we're going for the long con, and we need to be more focused on maintaining these cars and keeping them alive than racing hard just to get stage points.
And then on the other side of it, the wild card that comes into a race that doesn't have guaranteed stages is green flag pit stops. So have these guys kind of adapted to the possibility of having to do green flag pit stops. And this is one of those tracks that can be pretty challenging in terms of doing the green flag stops, coming off the banking in 4, getting woed down, and then particularly exiting pit road and getting back on the track, making sure you don't blend too early. That's going to be key as well. So if we have green flag pit stops, look for that to be a pivotal moment in this race. Someone definitely might make a mistake, might get caught speeding or exiting pit road improperly.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and run through the field real fast, starting with our first place in qualifying time. We have Rabbiati racing for 408 Racing in the number 12. We then have Carl Handwerk racing in the number 18. He's going to be a solo racer. Don't forget to shave, Dollar Beer Club, or Beard Club. We have Doug Higbee. He's going to be racing the number 23 Interstate Batteries. Andrew Singleton in number 22 All Black Techni Sports. We have Daniel Dye running in the RE number 43. Looks like he's got he forgot to remove the number there. It happens. We have Ruben Garcia in the number 88 Miller Lite. Sean Leisure in the number 67 Proximity Racing. Mason Sletton running in the number 96 Exlana. We have Kevin Foster running in the number 3 Good Wrench. Actually, what is that on this hood? It says plus. I don't know what that is. But that's pretty cool. That's a nice clean paint scheme. We have Andrew Ruiz running in the Autism Speaks number 9. Looks like we have our challenger from across the pond, Harry Grendel. Hopefully he's able to get his car in here. He's been having some netcode issues. Oh, 1 second, we just glitched. He'll be running in the number 70. We also have Noah Maruri in, sorry Noah, in the number 8, Valvoline. Jimmy Gawker in the number 9, and he's going to be running the 21 World Down Syndrome Day. And then we have Jane Kratasi in the number 10, running the R&B Car Company. And then in the number 13, we have the Black Rifle Company, Trevor Earharted. No, I think it's ERH Earhart.
Yes.
Okay. And then Andrew Combs running in the number 32. Techni Sports, we have Colton Lights in the number 24. This is a big field, so just bear with us. We have Caden Atkins in the number 2. Joseph Costello in the number 60 in the graphics. Actually, can't read what the...
It was like JC Graphics there.
Yeah, it looks like JC Graphics.
Makes sense with his name.
It does. Thank you.
Not a problem.
And then we have PT Terry's number 35, Gary Wright. That's actually a really cool paint scheme, the pastel colors.
Absolutely.
We have Spencer Boyd racing in the number 20, Orion Cookers. And then Mitchell Goosens running in the number 29 with that really cool Thunder paint scheme. Still don't know what it says on the lower panel. I gotta ask him eventually, but that's a pretty cool paint scheme. I wish it had the metallic paint. That'd probably pop a little more. Do that for the Lightning.
Absolutely.
And then we have Glenn Budren in the number 37, Racing Media. Looks like he's just in the pits right now. But that is going to be our field for tonight. We have a couple guys that have not fully connected yet. That's going to be Kobe Wells, Jack Bolche, and Hunter Elias. So hopefully they're able to connect and get back out there. But that's a pretty big field we have.
That's quite a big field.
Yeah, 23 cars.
I think we were talking about it on the break. I mean, when you're talking about Charlotte, it's one of those tracks that's kind of ubiquitous to iRacers. It's where you start your career. You're either racing USA or you're racing Charlotte. So usually when someone's doing Charlotte, a league invites you out to come to Charlotte, you're probably going to be there because you have a lot of experience here. If there's any track you run a lot, it's definitely Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and with that, that usually gives people a little bit of confidence to be a little more aggressive on the track too. So hopefully these guys tone it down a little bit, warm up those tires, get a feel for the track, find the grooves, and then go from there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, looks like we're going to get ready to grid.
Once again, qualifying session there.
Yeah, and an open qual. They usually do solos.
And that's another crazy dynamic when you're doing open qualifying. A lot of different factors you have to worry about, including other cars around you and even using the draft to your advantage. But what I noticed, the times really didn't deviate much from practice qualifying, so kind of level playing field there going into that session.
Yeah.
So we get ready for this race. So kind of what drivers are you looking at watching? Who are you looking at right now going into this race? Because there's some fast guys here, and these guys are on top of each other in terms of scoring.
Yeah. So some people to keep an eye on. Robbie Oddie, he's been pretty much one of the lead contenders in this league. Sean Leisure has been a consistent driver with this league and a fast driver. Let's see if he's out here tonight. I was going to say Braxton DeWeese, but I don't see him on the field. Another person to keep an eye on, but he's still he's not on the field either. Then I'm going to have to go with some of the people that I know, which is Kevin Foster, Carl Handworth. Andrew Singleton. He's a fast driver, and he kind of drives similar to Kevin Foster. He's very consistent. And then Midwest Motorsports team, Jaden Kratasi and Jimmy Gawker, they've been pretty good. So
awesome.
We'll see how it plays out. this since, like you said, is a starting track for a lot of guys. This is pretty much anyone's game once they get out there, because it is pack driving and drafting, and that opens up to a lot of people to move their way up the field.
But I think the other challenge that comes into play here, different from, say, a track like Daytona and Talladega, where draft and kind of car handling are hand in hand, Here, the car gets so tight over the course of a run, and it's going to be interesting to see how these guys adapt to having to kind of back out of these different runs that they get, knowing that the nose may not be there and it may try to carry them up into the middle of the wall in turn four. So it's going to be all about give and take here, using those runs effectively, being smart about those runs, but also maybe not overcommitting and up sliding up into the wall or into someone else.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with these guys.
Pace car now has the field under its control. Rabiati
Taking
behind
the
the pace car. Never unusual seeing that guy behind the pace car leading the field. I mean, I've had some experience with him and seeing him run. Very fast driver, so being out front is kind of natural for him. This is my first time being here in ISRC, so looking forward to seeing what he puts down here. But there are plenty of other names here who I'm very intrigued to see how they perform, especially after watching them practice for a little while.
Yeah, you know, honestly, Robbie's only raced with us twice, even though he was in the draft. This is his second race, so he's back at it with everyone else. So we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. So it's been an exciting 80-lap event. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys adapt to not having that stage, because again, it changes your mindset. Now you have to be thinking about fuel. If this race starts going green, look for these drivers maybe start making a bit of errors here and there because they're probably sitting there in their car computing how much fuel they have to make it to the end of this fuel run and how they can make that last to the end of the race. So plenty of storylines going on here as we get ready for 80 laps here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
All right, here we go.
These cars on pit road as usual. We're green for the first time here at ISRC Racing at Charlotte. Side by side, crossing a line, getting ready to go into turns 1 and 2 for the first time. They have to do that 79 more times tonight.
Oh, yeah. Looks like a clean launch. Some guys in the back are actually, looks like they're tossing back and forth.
Yeah, pretty much door to door, side by side, working their way down the backstretch right now, essentially 2 by 2. This is generally what you see here at Charlotte. Drivers kind of just door to door. They work their way around the track.
Oh, and we got contact, number 88.
23 and 88 sideways there.
Yeah.
Big crash still going. It's carrying on into turn 4. We're under caution here first time today, and this is what we were talking about. I mean, again, how aggressive are you going to be? Are you going to kind of slot yourself in line, or are you going to go ahead and maybe try and jockey for position early while you have the fresh tires? And we saw right there, that jockeying caused a huge crash going through turns 3 onto the exit of turn 4.
Let's go ahead and catch that on the replay. Pull up our carnage report for tonight. All right, just rolling it back. Give me 1 second. Yep, and I got it. All right, so here we go. If you watch the 88, he's going to come down into pretty much halfway through that line. The 23 holding position, and the 88 just comes up into him, is what it looks like. Or the 23 just couldn't keep speed. And
I mean, again,
down. That was a rough one.
That's that situation where you're kind of going through that corner and you're kind of judging what the car's doing. So if you have a good approach and good entry into that corner, you can kind of stay in the gas a little more and be able to roll it a little bit. But if the car starts pushing up on you, it's very likely you'll have to start checking up to kind of get it to catch so it doesn't get the fence in. The 88 seemed like he had a good posture going in that corner, had the momentum, and made some contact there, and it caused a huge calamity there as the 23 tried to gather himself back up. And not a lot of place for these guys to go when you're already in that pack coming off a restart. So a lot of damage for a lot of guys starting early in this race. I don't know what the fast repair situation here is in ISRC, but
I believe they have one fast repair, so they need to make sure they keep that checkbox off if they don't have too much damage.
Absolutely. You're trying to take advantage of, you can hammer out a dent and use as little time as you can right now. Fix it that way, save that fast repair for later. So big crash, lap 1 here in ISRC at Charlotte.
Yeah, luckily it didn't look like too many people got tossed up there in the sense of like some heavy damage rolling through the cars. They look pretty clean if we roll through, let's say, the rear. Looks like the 23's back out. I'm pretty sure you probably grabbed a new car after that.
Some of those guys needed a fast repair because they lost their hoods. They had a lot of serious front end damage and rear damage. And when you're racing at Charlotte or any other 1.5 mile, 2 mile, or super speedway, aero is king, even in these cars. So you want to make sure you have a nice clean car, no crumples, no anything on that machine while you're racing around here.
Yeah, and, that was a tough one to call. I did say it was probably the 88 that caused it, but looking at the 23, he actually lost some speed and came down a little bit. So it could have It's a little bit of spacing, like you said, and
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just when you're doing
It's
tight pack racing, it's just so hard to judge sometimes.
It's the nature of racing on a track like this. I mean, again, when you're going into that corner the first time, your tires aren't quite up to where they need to be right now. They're coming up to temperature. You're going in there, you're not quite sure how it's going to grip, and it's very possible the 23 was going in there and he felt the car started to shove, and that the instant response when it starts to shove it to back out of it a little bit. But when he's doing that, you already have a car behind you that's at speed, and that's kind of where those points intersect, and it can create that situation we saw there in turn 3 on lap 1.
Yeah, so well, hopefully they're able to get back on the groove, get back out there.
Absolutely.
But we'll see how they wash themselves out there.
I think in this situation, it's important to kind of, you see this happen in front of you, or if you're Rabbiati or a couple of those guys toward the front, you see it happen behind you, you make note of that. You say, okay, well, how is the pace of this race going to be? Is it going to be consistent yellow flags, or is it going to be, okay, this was one and done, or maybe we have a quick one after this, and then it's green? So these are all things you're kind of thinking about while you're driving when you have these kind of incidents very early. You're kind of trying to feel out what this race is going to be.
Yeah.
Is it going to be kind of that yellow flag affair, or is it going to be, all right, we see what happened, we see the cars are handling where we want them to, our guy's going to be a little more conservative, and we start getting some green flag runs in here.
But that definitely plays into your pit strategy too. Being a front runner, not being in an accident. Yeah, it saves your car. It saves you from having to do a lot of things. But you're also most likely not dropping in to grab tires and fix dents. So you're gonna have to adjust your pit strategy to that. Whether you're gonna want to go in and just grab fresh tires, or stay out and keep your tires warm so you get a good launch and just maintain a good run.
Right, and the challenge with a track like this, as opposed to others, tire wear with the current model isn't as bad as it has been. This track has not been notorious, in my opinion, with tire wear. It's pretty consistent, but it depends on the run. I mean, if you have started having a series of short runs, you may not come in. But let's say you have one caution like we had now, and then you go 25 laps without a caution, then you have another one, then you're probably going to want to come in, go ahead and get some fresh tires in there. It's really about playing to the situation of the race. If it's early in this race and you can go ahead and switch tires without much penalty, go ahead and do that. But I think you'll start seeing that tire play and that kind of fuel strategy once we get into kind of, I guess you'd say, the fourth quarter of this race with around 20 to go.
All right, looks like the pace car's lights are off as they go into turn 3. Let's get ready to go with the green flag.
Rabbiati, still your leader, has led all 5 laps so far. Coming to lap 6, we'll see if he can continue that trend, or will the 10, who had a nice run going into turns 3 and 4 before, or the 22, give him a challenge as we get ready to go back green. Waiting for the pace car to make that hard left turn, as it does, getting ready to go back under the green flag here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Nice jump by Robbie. Nice jump by Robbie. We're back green here at Charlotte. He gets a great jump, several cars ahead going into turn 1.
Oh, yeah. And it looks like everyone's kind of stretching themselves out this time. Last restart, they were really tight on each other and trying to pile up. Looks like we're spreading out just a tad bit, giving us some space.
Again, it sent a message. That crash, you saw it happen. Now everyone's kind of like, all right, let's not have that kind of race. Let's go ahead and kind of pick our positions, pick our plays, and go from there. We've seen that.
Yeah, and you can look back here by the number 35 and Gary White. That's going to be those guys are pretty close to each other, so we're going to actually see a good battle in the back right now. Looks like the 67 trying to fend off both the 24 and the 3, so that's going to be Colt Lights and Kevin Foster trying to get around Sean Leisure.
Yeah, now you're seeing people they're all jockeying with that upper lane, and they'll dive down a little bit, try to get some of that run on the bottom, but wait till these tires start to fall off. You'll start seeing drivers kind of hang out around that middle seam, that kind of darker strip there in the corners. You'll start seeing the guys kind of position themselves there to keep these cars wound up. But good racing so far. They went all the way through the field. Rabbiati now facing a challenge somewhat. The 22 is closed back up.
Nope, and looks like Jaden Kurtasi trying to get around the number 43. That's going to be Daniel Dye. He's locking up bumpers with them. He's definitely getting pretty close. He might be setting himself up for a pass pretty soon.
Yeah, and again, you really, when you're racing here, it's almost like racing on a mini restricted lane track to an extent. Obviously, it's not multiple lanes of racing on the left and right of you, but you're using that draft to your advantage.
And the 23 drops out of there and into the grass.
Still green right now.
Still green.
And He's had some more issues. That's a hard impact there that puts us on the yellow.
And that is correct. Let's go ahead and run that back on a replay, and we'll see what we can catch for you guys.
And Robbiati's still leading. That was right as that battle for the lead was getting real spicy. You saw 5 cars there toward the front, all within 5/10 of each other. That was going to get real interesting for Robbie, having led every lap so far.
All right, and here we go. So if you watch number 23, as he comes through, I locked onto the wrong guy. Let's do that one more time. He just jumped on me. Oh, looks like he just got pinched. That is a bummer. So Doug Higbee gets pinched between the 37 and the number 87. Let's one more time. Looks like we have a little bit of contact with 37, and yeah, that's what tripped it off. The 37 got into looks like Jimmy Gawker, and sent the 23, just ricocheted him down there. That's a bummer.
I mean, again, innocent bystander and all that, because again, that happened about 2 cars ahead of them, between them, those 2 drivers having a battle amongst themselves. Not much he could do in that situation. He tried to hang on to it, and then car got loose under him again under that really slick apron there. It's hard to control the car down there under normal driving conditions. Lost it there.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, seeing everyone come to pit road, so smart time to go ahead and do that. You got about 10 laps on these tires. Go ahead and come in, get some fresh rubber out there, and come back out on the track and try and keep the momentum going. Robbiati, first pit stall. He's led all the laps so far, getting his service right now, likely 4 tires and fuel.
Looks like everyone's dropping in. Oh, we have a quick pit by... Nope, Robbie out in time.
Solid pit stop for him. Looks like, if I look at the scoring here, about a 14.2 second pit stop. That's 4 tires. Nonetheless, looks like everyone through the field right now taking 4 tires and fuel right now. So no fuel strategy, no tire strategy just yet. Just go ahead and get 4 tires, fill it up with Sunoco Racing fuel, get back out there.
Yeah, and like I said, someone to keep an eye on is Sean Leisure. He's up there now in the number 67. Looks like he decided to pit a little earlier, and then, caution came out, take advantage of that, stay out on the track. And you're going to see him playing some pretty good defense against Robbie, so this is going to be a really tough race for these guys.
And right now, when you're looking at the scoring, looking at some of the, I guess, best speed we've had so far, not had many green flag runs so far this race, but Andrew Combs has run the fastest lap of the race so far to 29.247. So look for him, because when you compare it to Robbie, he's been out front in that clean air, 29.480. So you're kind of seeing the disparity here of when you're in the draft, you're in that traffic, you're able to take advantage of that kind of aerodynamic play on your car, as opposed to Robbie, who's out front, doesn't have that advantage. So we'll see if he can get to the front and be able to overtake Robbie. Will he have that same speed when he's out there by himself?
Yeah, that's going to be one of those things we're just going to have to see and wait and see.
But right now, 12 laps in, 2 cautions so far. So if I'm one of these drivers sitting here right now, I'm kind of, again, thinking about fuel. That's just my mindset when I'm driving any car, but especially a NASCAR, I'm always thinking about fuel. I'm thinking about maybe this will be the run that goes green, and then I have to worry about my fuel strategy. So I think if we get a similar, maybe kind of a mid-length run, I think drivers will be starting to think about that fuel number again. And I don't know how much fuel they burn here, and these cars, kind of different leagues, have different requirements in terms of fuel fill. But always think about, when you're in these cars, when you're racing on these tracks, you're always thinking about trying to figure out ways to save fuel. Even though it's only lap 12, you're never too early to think about saving fuel.
No, every lap counts. And it adjusts your position, too. So, like, some people that, I know pretty well in driving-wise, like Kevin Foster, he's one of those guys that likes to really extend his runs. So, he spaces out the time he needs to grab fuel, and he takes his time. He's one of those slow, methodical drivers in the sense of just kind of, like I said, spacing out his runs, grabbing fuel when he needs to, not when, he has an opportunity to.
And let's not do a disservice to the 67 up there. He is not pitted. He's still on the same tires that he's been on since the first lap of the race. Did not pit. He stayed out in the last pit stop, and he is currently the leader right now.
Yeah,
so Robbie's got a little work done.
Shows 1 pit for me.
Shows, if anything, it shows, on, at least on my side, it shows he's on the same tires, if anything.
It shows me 1 pit with a 14.3 second stop.
Because Robbie was the first car to exit pit road.
I think he pitted before on the second caution.
Okay, gotcha.
I think that's what it was.
Gotcha.
All right, looks like we have
All
some
right.
people that have dropped out already. That's going to be Doug Higbee and Josh Costello. Looks like they are out of the run. That's a bummer.
Yeah, it sucks when your race comes to an end so early, but hopefully next week they'll be able to bounce back and kind of get that momentum back going. Again, it's still early in their season, so you can always have a mulligan or two. Unfortunate that it happens so early in the race, but hopefully they can bounce back and try and keep their season alive.
Yep.
All right, pace car's entering turn 3, so we're going to rack them up and get ready to go green here again. I'm going to restart on lap 14. It looks like Sean will be your leader with Rabbiati now having to play, I guess, he has to probably try and challenge to get that lead back. He's been out front all day. Now he has someone else out there trying to vie for this win, at least early, right now here at Charlotte. Pace car is in. The field is under the control of the 67, so we'll see if he gets a nice jump. And again, the power of the leader dictating the restart. Another solid jump for him. Side by side for the 12 and 22 as we get ready to re-enter turns 1 and 2. Oh, 4-car breakaway up here. Oh, looks like.
And looks like Rabbiati going toe-to-toe with Andrew Singleton right now. And
Great side-by-side battle here. We'll see which line prevails at least early on these new tires. Will the high side be strong or will the inside still prevail? But right now, a bit of a jump for Robbie, but we're probably going to see the 22 come back just a little bit. He's working the trial over here, still right down there in that quarter panel. I think we're going to get back to the one. Clear ahead just barely now. They're single file through about the top 9 right now. So each caution seems to be taming these guys just a little more. Now we got some solid single file racing here. 22 seeing a challenge from the 43 that looks like on the inside going into turn 3.
And it looks like even the back of the pack's cleaned itself up a tad bit too. So we should see probably at least 25 laps out of these guys, nice and clean.
Absolutely. So now you're kind of settling in. You want to get some racing in, want to get some laps in. And we're seeing a quick move by the 12 toward the front. Looks to the inside of the 67 side by side, Q1 and 2. We'll see if he can complete the pass here. But again, at least on new tires, he should be able to do it. The old tires, once they come into play, you might see that outside line get a little stronger. Side by side going into 3. Some contact there. Wow, that stacked them up real quickly. They got a little bit started banging doors there a little bit. Thought it was the last lap, but now everyone's back in this fray. And the 43 now looking to peek to the inside, and he just barely doesn't get to lead that lap. The 12 will be scored as a leader there. Wow, that could have been a huge calamity going in turn 3.
Yeah, it looks like the 87 and the 88, we're going to get into it for a quick second. Oh, sorry, the 67 and the 88, they're getting pretty close on that, entering that turn.
Wow. Wow, that was crazy. Good save by both of those drivers and good heads-up awareness by the cars behind them who closed in a hurry there.
Coming into turn 3, the 87 lifting, or sorry, the 67 lifting as he came around that corner. Looks like he had a good run on Singleton, but definitely does not know where to go. And then the 87 riding the bumper of the 43. Looks like he's trying to push him ahead to get ahead of Robbie.
That was straight up Talladega Daytona drafting right there. Just pushed him to the lead there. 43 now out front. Single file behind them. And now you're seeing the 12 having to battle with the 87 now going through 3 and 4. Great battles right now. You're seeing these cars jockey for position. And again, I'm still thinking about that near wreck between the 67 and the 12. Great save by both of them. But now comes the question, did they get a little bit of damage there? Because now they're fading back a little bit as they get worked by traffic going on the inside. Now the 22 challenging the 12 down the backstretch.
Yeah, and I think they did pick up some damage there because they're definitely losing some speed. Oh, Robbie coming in hot in that 3. And then dropping down to his lower line.
That's what you call give and take with the 22 and the 12 there. The 12 probably the 22 probably saw that coming, said, look, all right, I know you're going to drive it in there deep. I'll give you the position. Go ahead. There's no need to get a little too racy out here right now. Pretty much single file through the top 10. A small battle forming up here between the 43 to 87 and the 12, but a lot more tame than we were about 10 laps ago.
Yeah, other than, let's jump back to the back real fast. I can see Jaden Kutasi, the number 18, and the 37 were riding in the back of him, and I think they're going to make a push right about now.
Yeah, side by side, you see the 18, there was some damage on his car, but now still working by each other, the 10, 37, and there's like the 18 there if I'm looking at scoring properly. His car handworked a little bit of damage on the rear of his car. I don't know if he's saving his fast repair or just trying to work that damage down through cautions, but as I mentioned earlier, damage is so vital here. When you have that damage, it's going to hurt that car. So seeing him fade a little bit.
All right, let's go back to the front of the pack. Looks like the 43 still up there with the 87, trying to give him a challenge. Going to go too wide into the corner.
And when you're talking about the longer the run goes on, notice the 87 now. He's changed lanes. He's gone to the high side because he knows that as these tires fall off, the high side becomes a preferred line. So you're trying to block runs, basically, if you're the lead car. So you saw that 43 switch lines, go up high. So now he's in the command seat right now, going into turn 4. We'll see if he can carry that momentum off the corner, coming to the start-finish line. You just see, if you're even watching here, just notice the momentum really stalls out if you're that bottom car as you're going through the corner. You're able to maintain it somewhat, but if that outside car gets that run on you, it just draws you side by side, especially going off turn 4 into the tri-oval. And now we see the 43 peek into the inside. Going to try and not slide up there. If you notice, he backed out of it just a little bit. Looks like he was trying to push up just a little bit. Played it safe there. Now the 12 is going to try and investigate, see if he can try and move to the outside. They are very tight single file right now. The 22 now getting challenged by the 88.
Yeah, I was about to say the 88 looks like he's going to set up a good run. He's going to try and play a little leapfrog with these guys. You know, you see him
going to try to.
I think he's going to go for a side draft and then push a little farther next corner. You know, he tested it on that first turn, and it looks like he's lifting off a little bit. But I bet you when we come back to turn 1 and 2, he's going to push it again.
And see, he went to the high side there because he's wanting to use that hill to his advantage. I mean, it keeps that car wound up and lets you just kind of rocket yourself toward turn 1. And now we see him committing to the high side again. He's going to try and just keep that car energized as he's coming off these hills. So it may seem like he's losing time here and there, but in actuality, he's trying to get that car wound up and up to speed using the draft and the outside line to try and close that gap for the 22. So the 22 is trying to use that draft of the 12 to pull away from the 88 in this situation. So a lot of dynamics playing into how this race is shaking out.
Oh, yeah, a lot
87
of give and take. Oh, and we have a pretty good battle building up once again. And by the number 10, we have a 4-car pile, or I wouldn't say pile up, but a 4-car line that was building up.
No, we had a pile up on lap 1. That's a pile up.
You're right. My bad. Looks like the 10 trying to make a jump, and looks like the 18 is falling back. Carl Handwerk definitely has some damage that's not helping him out. But you can see the 10 and the 37 really making some moves, trying to get around the 13 right now. Both the 10 and the 9 are teammates, so you're going to see these guys working together, trying to push themselves up the field.
And notice that almost that block that was thrown by the 13 there. The 37 was moving off turn 4. I mean, he got a great run off that hill, dropped it down right next to that apron. That's part of the cutoff for the Roval there. Dropped it right down there, kept that car wound up, and nearly had the run going to that corner, but the 13 tried to slow him down a little bit. We see a bump there from the 37 onto the 9. He is like, I've got places to go by the 9 right now, and he gets another position.
And now back up in the front pack, the 88 going side by side with the 22. Now he's dropping back again, but Rabiati getting around the 43. He's got the 87 in his sights now.
So many great battles forming right now, and again,
I know it's hard to keep track.
Absolutely. Watch this battle here. We talked about the outside. He just completed that pass, referring to the 88 on the outside there. So the outside line is coming into play as these tires fall off. As drivers search for grip, the low side is not your friend anymore. That car is going to shove the nose so much. The drivers know this. As we see a change for the lead now, Rabiati back out front. All these drivers are jockeying for that prime high line of real estate right now where they're trying to make passes.
And I've seen some pretty good blocking by the 88 right now, blocking off the 22 Andrew Singleton from trying to get around him.
Yeah, we're even seeing more blocking toward the front as the 87 now trying to get past the 12. So when you're driving these cars, you know when you're the first place guy, or you're the first car in the line of the line you're in, like Rabiati is right now. You know that the driver behind you is trying to find where they can try and make that move on you. And right now, that move is going to probably come with a kind of momentum-based shift to the outside. So they're trying to find that momentum. If I'm Rabiati, I'm blocking that momentum. I'm throwing blocks and trying to slow them down to prevent them from getting those
and
runs.
We got contact. Looks like that was Jaden Kurtasi caught up with someone else.
I see the 37 says he's involved in that. He's in the wall right now. Some damage there. The 9 trying to keep it straight there. Everyone's trying to shake out the situation that's going on. But
Jimmy running through
right
running through the field, and he's back on the track. Wow.
Wow. We're still green here. The 96 trying to get away from all this. It's looking like rush hour traffic.
Yeah.
here.
It
Everyone's
was
trying to get out of the way.
That's who it was. It was someone that got caught up with Andrew Combs. You can see his side right now. We're watching the 32. His side is pretty banged up, and I think that was the number 9 the number 10 getting caught up with Andrew Combs, trading some paint, and then Jimmy diving into the field, just trying to get out of there.
Man, that got real dicey there, but we're still in the green here. But what that has done is it's really spread out this field. I mean, look back toward the front. We see Rabbiati got about 0.5 of a second over the cars. But the question then becomes, there's a kind of this window, this threshold that you have to get as a leader to try and pull away from everyone. They don't just suck you back in the draft. So we'll see if Robbie can kind of break away, maybe get about 6 to 7 between himself and second place to try and drive away with his race.
Kind of what he has already, but that's still within the realm, the 88 and the 87 working together and pushing themselves back up to Rabbiati, which I think they can do.
Absolutely. And again, it comes down to, do we race each other now, or do we wait until we get toward the front and get closer to the leader? So we'll see what these guys decide to do as we get further in this run, but don't look now. We're already close to halfway in this race, and it's already flown by.
Yeah, well, I think those first 2 cautions were pretty much, I would say, and we have a caution out. Looks like that is not going well. I believe Colton Lights and someone else was just caught up in that. Let's go ahead and roll the Carnage report and catch that. Did you catch who was involved in that one?
Looks like the 20 and the 24 were caught up in that, coming on the exit of turn 4 there.
I'm watching it right now. Oh, yeah. Ooh, I think that might have been something else. I want to watch that one more time. Looks like Carl Handwork came up and I would say scared the 24.
I mean,
that's the only way I can really put it. He it looks like he flinched. I'm trying to get a better angle on it right now.
I mean, it's very possible. I mean, again, the 20 began sliding up. Nothing he did wrong. He just, maybe his car pushed up a little bit, so he decided to go ahead and just move up a lane to go ahead and let the 24 by. The 24 moves up to follow alongside him, and then out of nowhere comes the 18. So it's very much possibly a instinctive reaction.
I can't tell if that's contact or if it's not. I'm doing a rear chase right now, and it looks like looks like Carl might have clipped. I'm gonna. Sorry guys for the wait on this, but I want to get this right because this is. No, that's contact. All right, I finally got it. Here we go. All right, so we're riding with the 24 right now, and you're gonna see Carl Handwork come up on the left and come up, and he touches the front left fender, and that pushes the 24 into the 20. So bad on you, Carl. Don't do that. And that is going to be our Carnage report for tonight.
Hopefully those guys still have some fast repairs left over to go and get those cars fixed up, but everyone looks like they're on pit road getting serviced very close to halfway in this race, so that was a pretty long run we had there. I mean, that was a substantial run of green flag racing, so...
And you know what, that's... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that run is pretty much perfect. You know, they settled down, they had where they wanted to go. They just maybe needed to work a little bit more on their field awareness. But other than that, you know, we've been seeing really good racing the whole way through.
Yeah, there's been some great battles at the front too. I mean, some awesome battles for the lead, and we'll see. I'm predicting that's going to ramp up even more as we get further into this race, because now that we're approaching halfway, kind of that it's time to go syndrome will hit this field. It's time to get ready to get in position to get the track position you want. So we'll see if some of these guys who maybe saved their fast repairs, knowing they have a fast car, we'll see if they decide to go ahead and use them and get themselves in position here.
Now that we've seen the field race for about 36 laps or so, who do you have your money on now? Who do you really see that's shining up in front and people that are kind of breaking away?
I mean, it's hard to count on Robbie. He's had a very strong car so far this race, and it seems like he's had good awareness of where to put the car in terms of how the track is developing and how it's wearing in and where the grip is, where it isn't. He's had good awareness in that regard. But I like the 88 because it seems like he is very good on these long runs. And I want to see the 88 of Ruben Garcia race up and battle Rabbiati, especially when those tires fall off, because I like the way the 88 is running the outside line.
Someone else that's been doing really well is Blaze McKinley in the number 87. He's been up there a little bit, tossing back and forth. Someone that I think is going to be a challenger coming to the last ends of the lap is going to be Andrew Singleton in the 22. He's been battling back and forth with the 88. He did have a little, I wouldn't say the best of luck against the 88. 88 looked like he's throwing out some good blocks, but I definitely think he's going to be one of those guys you want to keep an eye on. And also Daniel Dye in the 43. Oops, sorry about that. He was throwing out some really good defense back there. He did fall off, but he's definitely back up in the run.
And these guys have been top 5 to top 7 most of the race, and some have worked their way towards position, but especially on that long green flag run, they've really staked their claim of why they belong in this position of the race. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of these battles as they shake out, because, man, were they mixing it up during the course of that green flag run.
Oh, yeah. That was some beautiful trades between these guys. Good moving, losing some positions, bringing some positions back. Just nice, clean driving up in the front.
And what I like to see is the blocks are being thrown, and I don't know what's being said by the drivers in the communications or in the team comms, but if I'm a driver and I see those blocks getting thrown, I don't generally get frustrated by it, and I'm seeing these drivers remain pretty calm when the blocks are being thrown. What I'm seeing them do is they're using the blocks to their advantage, maybe trying to find an area of weakness to try and capitalize on, maybe find an opening, find a lane that they wanted to get to that got freed up. So I'm looking to see if these guys will continue to do that, capitalize on the blocks to maybe get yourself in a position that wasn't open before.
Yeah, and honestly, when you're throwing a block, most of the time you're throwing yourself in a situation where you're going to lose a little bit of speed. So that if you're the guy pushing, you're probably not going to have an opportunity, but the person behind you, if he's waiting and patient, he's going to get an opportunity to probably get a good run on the guy that's, at least throwing the block with the guy in front. And also, we have a two-man team up in front. We have Jaden Kurtasi and Jimmy Gawker, the 10 and 9. So we might see these guys trying to go 2 on the outside and pushing around the 88, the 22, and the front runners.
Well, like I said, you got to figure out how to get yourself positioned to be able to do that in this kind of situation, because unlike Talladega and Daytona, where you can have more room to move around and get in those positions to find your teammates and make moves, this track is a lot narrower, and the cars get so pushy. They have so much understeer here. It makes trying to make kind of aggressive moves like that, or aggressive team-based moves, kind of a challenge. So we'll see if they can kind of meet that challenge as we get ready to go green here.
Yeah, it definitely pinches them on the exit of those turns, both turn 2 and the exit right here on turn 4. It gets, like you said, it gets tight for these guys, and you can see right there at the edge, and that's probably where Carl came in a little too hot and just pinched the other guy out.
Absolutely. You saw there on that restart, not something we've seen so far during this race, but it looks like the 12 and maybe just the cars behind them all kind of bunched up a little bit. I don't know if that was intentional or just kind of worked out that way. Everyone kind of compressed there, and then Robbie goes. So in this situation, you want to kind of try and get yourself away a little bit from this field, because now everyone's a little closer to you than they were on the previous restart. We see Robbie with about a 0.2 of a second advantage over the car behind him, the 87, and then the 88 behind him.
Right now, we're actually seeing a pretty good battle unfold between the top 7 cars. Jaden Kurtasi really fighting for position with the 43 and the 22 right now. They're going to be going too wide into that corner. You have, your front 3 that have taken away the 87 and 88 working together. But right now in the front, the 43 is pushing. Look at him go.
I mean, for me, I don't know if I'm going to be at the top of the track just yet. I mean, I would be trying to preserve my stuff and maybe use that inside line as much as I can. But he's up there early, so maybe he's going to try and get that outside line moving just a little bit and try and use that position to get that spot. And look, he just did it right there, right as I said it.
Yeah,
there he goes, taking that spot.
Setting up a little crossover and getting up on the high side on him.
I mean, again, the high side is so important here. If you can get that car to start rotating up there on the high side, exiting turn 2 and 4 effectively, you're going to have a chance to get track position and maybe you win this race. And the challenge now is trying to get to the front and catch a driver like Rabiati. You're seeing the 88 close the gap there, and because the 88's closed up, that helps the 87 and 22 also close the gap.
Yep.
So right now, the top 5 all single filed in a double wide battle back there between the 18 and the 10 going to turn 3. And now the 88 closing up a little more on the leader, Rabiati, exiting turn 4.
And something to watch, Robbie trying to scrub off that draft as he swings down low a little bit.
It's very much a balancing act. You're trying to kind of break up that draft, but you don't want to break up your own momentum as well. So, like we
Yeah.
talked about earlier, you don't want to lose speed in the situation, but you don't want to give the cars behind you an advantage just to draft up on you. So, we see the 88 now. When you use that run, you want to look to the outside. The 87 goes to the inside. Single file, third, fourth, and fifth outside run for the 88, exiting turn 4, and he's going to have to back out of it just for a second. And going to reapproach coming to the start finish line. Robbie facing a challenge in 1.
And I'm gonna back up real fast. The person running the 09, that's actually Andrew Ruiz. I'm really sorry. The number 9 is Jimmy Gawker. The number 09 is Andrew Ruiz. Sorry about that, Andrew. I didn't mean to miscall you there. But looking at the back of the pack, both the number 2 and number 4 were making some headway trying to get around Andrew Ruiz.
Absolutely. We got some battles shaping up here. We got a battle for the lead. Now lane change, 88 to the inside of the 12. And now the 43 battling with the 22. And you know the 87 is hanging out in the middle of both of these battles in third.
Hey,
really some contact there.
Wow. Checking it out.
They are getting really racy up here. Great racing here.
Oh, and we have a dive into the infield. Didn't catch who that was, but he definitely tried to avoid something. Did you roll that back and see who it was?
I was watching this battle up here because we still have a door-to-door battle for the lead right now, and a battle for fourth as well. As I'm seeing which lane's going to prevail here. I mean, it's a late stage of this race, and which lane's going to prevail here is going to be very key in terms of positioning yourself later. We're seeing the inside just not have enough as these tires fall off to be able to hold the run. So Robbie granted a reprieve right now going to 3 from the advances of Ruben Garcia. Single file through about the top 7 right now.
You know, I honestly think we're going to see the 88 take the high side with the 87 and probably swing himself around him again.
That's going to be the best move right now. Again, as these tires fall off, that's going to be this kind of the wise decision right now. You're going to want to come off the bottom there and maybe force Robbie to have to start moving around again. It seems once he got him to move, that's when he was able to get that initial run on the outside. So we'll see if Robbie will be able to prevent himself from losing this lead here. But he's fighting hard right now with that 88, that Miller Lite machine right there, battling for position in the 87 to 43 in a battle for 5th between the 22 and the 18.
Yeah. Looks like Carl Handler trying to make a move on Andrew Singleton right now. And then,
I mean, this is what you want to see out of this kind of track. This is the kind of race you want to see. Great battles forming all over the track.
Yeah, and you know, out of this season, this has probably been one of the best runs I've seen for a lot of these guys. The last couple of races have been a little bit rough just because the tracks and handling it. They did pretty good on Talladega, but this one, wow, they're keeping it clean. They're pushing hard, and they're being aggressive and really not, you know, getting into too many accidents. You're getting a couple doors, but 2 cautions, 49 laps, or sorry, 50 laps with how fast these guys are pushing and how packed up the front is. That's some really clean driving.
And let me give a call to Robbie out of here. Great run on the exit of turn 2, able to pull away there from the 88.
Oh, yeah.
The 88's going to, and we got some contact there. The 87 sideways saves it. More sideways car. The 43, they're stacking up a bit. They save it, though. Everything's still green.
Oh, and a push from Carl Handwork into the 43. Oh, no! Save him! Oh, and can the 43 save it? He looks like he is still alive. Wow.
Business is picking up here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
To say the least.
That, he gave him a push in that turn, and he just too much speed to keep himself going.
You don't push in the turns here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You might get away with it at Talladega on a good day, but you don't do that here. And good hands driving by all those guys not to cause a huge calamity there. But what this has done is created a 2-man race at the front between Ruben Garcia and Rabbiati, who have about a second and a half over the 87 right now.
And Ruben does not want to give up. And you know what's coming up? They're going to need to pit soon. They're going to need to drop in.
That's what you're thinking about. And now that the race is at this kind of complexion, you start thinking about the 2-tire, no tire kind of situation. You start calculating fuel, all these different things. So, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to have these guys really do some thinking here on how many tires they're going to take, how much fuel they're going to take, and some probably start clutching it, some maybe start saving fuel. Maybe those guys toward the back maybe save fuel, hoping that the leaders maybe push themselves over the edge and not be able to make enough fuel.
And we're seeing actually a good battle develop between 87 and the 18. Carl Handwork still trying to push around the 87. 87 throwing out some great blocks, though.
Yeah, again, we're seeing the cars naturally when they're trying to go in advanced position. They're going to that high side. We see the 18 kind of staying. If you looked at the track, coming to the bottom just a little bit to keep the car wound up. But I'm betting once he maybe gets that run on the outside, he's going to try and go for that outside pass.
Yeah, he's setting up that outside pass right about now.
Here we see the 87. Look, oh, wow. Very nice of the 87. Let him go there. We're going to see if he maybe comes back on the outside. And nope, he's going to slip in line behind him and give him the position. Maybe that was a situation where the 87 just says, look, I know you're faster right now. I'm going to let you go for a second, but don't expect me to go away that easily. Right now, nose to tail going through one.
Did a little bit of movie magic there.
Absolutely.
I know. I just realized I was 4 seconds behind you.
You're fine.
Hopefully no one noticed that, but I switched to a solid screen and then fast forwarded real fast.
You're totally fine. I apologize if what I was saying seemed like I was a wizard because
just reading the track.
I am just Tony Romo in this entire race right now. So during that time, looks like Robbie has kind of opened up a bit of a lead now because about 0.8 of a second between him and the 88. So not sure what happened there. We were watching that battle between car handwork and the 87.
Yeah. I
Maybe
think
been a bit of a slip up there that caused the 88 to lose some track position.
I don't think so. I think it's just his tires have fallen off a little more than Robbie's, and so we're seeing it really stretch out on him. He also might be just trying to save fuel, so maybe he's clutching it around a little bit just to let off.
Absolutely.
But he's definitely falling off pretty significantly. You can see Carl catching up to him. I think we're just coming to the end of their fuel and their tires, and so these guys are going to have to drop in. It's pretty much who's going to call the bluff first.
Yeah, this is one of these mind games races. I mean, you got to be, when you're in Robbie I's position, a veteran racer, he knows what he's doing out here. At the same time, you're also paying attention to kind of the mind games that are being played. So you see a driver who was right on you 2 laps ago, now has dropped back to about a second and a half back. You're wondering, what's he got up his sleeve? What's he planning here? What's he doing? Has he burned up his stuff? X, Y, Z. You're going through all these questions, but at the same time, you're also looking at your relative. You're seeing what drivers are going on pit road. You're looking at how long they're on pit road to see if they're actually getting fuel, they're getting tires, what they're doing. That's all shaping the decisions you're making in the car right now and how hard you're pushing it right now.
Yeah.
I'm Robbie. I'm probably backing it up right now, just a little bit.
And you can see right now the 87 just got around the 88, so he's definitely dropping off. He's definitely feeling somewhere. Whatever it is out there, it's something hitting him pretty hard.
So yeah, right now that 88 falling back to 4th, about a second and a half back to Carl Hamworth in the 87 just behind him. And looking at Carl, I mean, he's had kind of a up and down race, but now he's running P2. So we'll see if he's able to kind of close out this race after it's been a little bit eventful for him going through the first roughly 60 laps of this race.
Yeah, causing accidents, driving through people. You know, typical Carl driving out there.
I mean, these things happen. It's all good. It happens to all of us. We all have our races where we're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Exactly. And sometimes, you know, you're making a pass on someone and it pinches off. You don't know if the person's going to hold their line or if they're going to come down a little bit, trying to keep spacing and stuff like that. It, you know, with esports and sim racing, for everyone out there that's new to it or doesn't understand it as much, you know, you guys have to judge this off of a monitor. Technically, depth perception really isn't there unless these guys have VR goggles. It's really hard for them to see what's side by side with them. Even on a 3-monitor setup, you can only see so much. So you really have to kind of just know what size of a car or what the car looks like when it's to your right and how big it should be, and judge off perspective. You can't really judge off of depth unless you have VR goggles.
And that's why I made the kind of the joke about you're checking your relative, but the relative, which is it's telling you how close you are, how close the car is to you, and how close the car behind you is, things like that. The relative is so important here because you can kind of judge where the car is next to you, behind you, based on how low that number is. So if it's 0.2, that means, okay, they're probably right up behind me. If it's 0.1, they're probably right next to me. I should probably be careful. It's valuable information. So the stuff that drivers may not see, as the relative kind of substitute that role of spotter, it gives you that number and information of where cars are in relation to you.
And it looks like we had a little bit of rough bumping out there between the backpack. Looks like Mitchell Goosen's going in for the pit. Looks like he's missing a hood.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
You need that.
I don't know. He might be a little overheating. He's just trying to get some fresh air. Just pulled the eject lever on his hood. Don't need this. Pop. There it goes.
Sadly, we don't have debris cautions right now on iRacing because if
That'll
so,
be
we'd have
the
a
day.
giant hood, have a giant hood on the backstretch. That'd be great.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine when they finally do that? They have debris out on the track. That'd be amazing.
I'm sure they're working on it. I mean, we're getting the new damage models. The damage models are looking better every year, so I wouldn't put it past them that you end up driving over a giant hood and it's just like, well, my day is done. These things happen.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. That's going to bring the game to the next level, really.
Absolutely. And again, looking at the field right now, 1.7 second lead for Robbie, kind of easing back down to about 1.6. But again, we're thinking about fuel. The race is slowly clicking down toward lap 80. I'm wondering what's going through his mind right now. I'm wondering what's going through through Carl Hamrick's mind, or even 87, Ruben Garcia, or Andrew Singleton. You're thinking about how do I pit? What do I do in this situation? Because take it from me, exiting pit road on no tires, going out on those old tires is a nightmare. So I don't know how many drivers are going to opt to take 2 or no tires, but that's going to add a whole new complexion to this race. We see some drivers drop off there.
Yeah, there we go.
Looks like we're
Whole
seeing
front
it.
pack. Oh, look, Kevin Foster, someone that you should always keep an
Ooh.
eye on.
Absolutely.
He's in there.
I was watching the 22 there coming in hot.
Yeah,
so we'll have
I
to see
caught
if he gets a
that.
penalty.
Locking up those brakes.
Be real careful about that, definitely.
And
All
like
the
you were
drivers
talking
want-
about checking your relative, Jonathan Platt's in the chat right now, and he's taught me a lot about checking my relative. I did a little bit of a short course driving with that guy. Literally at 2.5 seconds before I get lapped. Check your relative. There he is on my tail.
Yep. I mean, it's all about spatial awareness and looking at the, not to switch gears automatically and kind of
Yep.
change subjects, but looking at the sport right now, looks like everyone did 4 tires and at least a majority of their fuel. So no crazy strategies yet among those drivers who have pitted. So Rabbiati cycles around as the, I guess you'd say, presumptive leader, but he's going to have a challenge from the 87 who got a great run exiting pit road. That's what I'm talking about.
Look at him go.
Exiting pit road, if you know how to do it, will get you so much track position. And we saw him nail his exit there, but now the 12 is going to try and challenge back, going down through the triangle and entering in turn 1. So right now, that is a battle for the first car 1 lap down. For 87 in that position right now, then Rabbiati just behind him.
Yeah, watching these guys battle it out. Let's stick with them for a couple laps. Robbie looking for that pass, and 87 pinching him up with the 88. This is going to get a little hairy.
Set the pick, and that will save the 87 for just now. That is called a veteran move there. That is using the pick to your advantage. So now he gets a bit of a break, but you know the 12 is going to try and challenge again, and we'll figure out which way he's going to go. Going in there now,
he's got
it's
that
going to be
side
high.
draft.
And he's going to use that high side again, keeping that car wound up. Looks like the 87 had just clipped the apron, if not for a second, but he'll keep it wound up side by side down the backstretch past the Jumbotron, heading into turns 3 and 4 again. The 12 making the outside work, the 87 committed to the inside.
Yeah, and it looks like I think the 87 is going to get beat on this straight, and he's going to have to back off a little bit and then cycle back in and get on his tail. But no, he's going to challenge him still. He doesn't want to give up that inside run.
He does not want to do it. He's going to hope that maybe the 87, the 12 kind of has some issues there. Again, he
And-
clips that apron. That's going to cost him some track position there.
And there it
That
is.
apron is such a killer.
Yeah.
And now the question becomes, will he fall into the clutch of the 88? Now that they're single file, yes, you do lose track position when you're racing side by side, but now that draft is a little closer to the 88. Will that now bring the 88
And
closer?
here's the magic number. We have a caution out on the track. That was caused by the number 11, I believe. Let's go ahead and run that back and see what happened with him. All right, time for the caution report. Let's see if we can catch that, because that looked a little rough. And just not too bad of an accident, but definitely gonna cause some problems for him. Let's go ahead and roll that for the live scene. And so if you watch the number 11 and the 43, the number 11 riding on the inside starts to come up a little bit, feels a little pinched by the 43, and on the exit of turn 2, finds himself swinging back up, clips the inside of the 43, and then sends himself for a quick little spin. Does a 360, says, watch me, guys, and then gets back on the track. He got lucky he didn't clip that wall.
That is best case scenario for a incident like that, because that car can easily veer to the right or the left into the wall. But thankfully had enough control to be able to get that car wheeled down and save it from actually crashing.
Oh yeah. And that's like, you know, with those corners, like we said, with the exits being so tight and being dangerous, it's just one of those things where like it's nerve-wracking when you come off that corner and you punch someone in the door and you just start to go in towards the wall and you're like, am I going to spin or am I just going to dive in and completely total my car on this run?
You're kind of on for the ride at that point. I mean, you're kind of just hoping you can get that car wound up. You're trying to whoa it down. You're trying to get on the brakes just to get that thing to at least get some semblance of control. But
there's no control.
At some point, you're kind of just on for the ride, hoping for the best, hoping that you're normally not necessarily worried about the car hitting the wall in that position. It's getting hit by someone else who maybe tries to anticipate where your car is going to go and ends up hitting you anyway. Yeah. So that's what you're stressing about the most in that situation too. So the 11, thankfully, was able to dodge.
Well, this
could have been a devastating bullet.
This is going to do something for the field right now. Now with that caution, 9 laps to go before we have our checkered flag. Wow. We're going to have a really hard push, I think, for these last, 5-6 laps.
Absolutely. I mean, again, we'll be watching to see who decides to come to pit road. I mean, they were just on pit road not a few laps ago. So
I'd stay out. Just keep your tires a little bit of worn so they have some tackiness to them. And the 8, though, has he pitted again? Let's take a look at that. Or is he part of... Oh, no. Noah's part of lap traffic.
Yes. So I'm looking at the score, and it looks like only 2 cars that were within the top 10 pitted, which will be the 43 and the 4. They were on the lead lap. And they're back in now. So it creates a situation for them where they could theoretically have a shot at winning this, but they have to cut through traffic first.
Yeah. Let's take a quick moment and do a little bit of advertising since we have these guys on a caution. Wanted to thank everyone for tuning in for tonight to Death by Booms Media and watching the Pro Circuit the ISRC Pro Circuit sponsored by Big Evil Designs. If you need a car wrap painted for iRacing, check out Big Evil. Check out Big Evil Designs on Instagram. Shoot him a message; he'll set you up. And then if you want to watch some more racing action, please tune in for the Core Racing Series. We're going to be taking Daytona prototypes to Kansas Motor Speedway, so this is going to be pretty awesome.
That race is going to be insane.
I'm
very
excited
to call that.
Yeah, that's going to be a nail biter. And from what happened at Pocono from last season, I think we're going to see an even closer race. And it's just going to be one of those things where it's just going to be really close. These guys are going to be able to get onto the draft. They're going to be able to pass each other. And I think even at Pocono, like you're talking about, like these guys were like neck and neck. And even when they're getting a pass, you get a pass and then, the next person would swing around and pass on you. They suck up so fast and you get just, like 5 to 10 miles an hour of a little boost that gives you enough to get run around someone. And then it just drops off the moment you hit the front.
Yeah, again, I mean, those cars aren't traditionally run on that kind of track, so that's a whole new dynamic for people to kind of see. For one thing, just to see a Daytona prototype on the banks of a NASCAR oval, that's one thing. But to see how these cars drive in that situation, it should feel somewhat familiar because it's very much like running a restricted plate race. I mean, again, the runs you get are substantial, but when you're by yourself, you are by yourself. You're a lonely man out there.
Most definitely. So that is going to be what's in line for today. So don't forget to check it out. That's literally going to come up in about an hour and 40 minutes. We'll have that live. So we'll have a small, about 40-minute break or so before we go live with the Core Racing Series. So today is our Sunday doubleheader. Don't forget to check it out. Every weekend we have ISRC and the Core Racing Series. And then starting on April 1st, we'll actually have Wednesday nights with the iRacing short course, and that's going to field a lot of drivers this season. So it's going to be pretty intense. They have some money that they're going to be racing for, and it looks like we're going to be getting the green flag. So let's get to go live.
Got less than 10 laps to go, so this is going to be a very, very exciting finish for this ISRC race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Field back under the control of Robbie Yachty, and we are back under green, and great anticipation by the 87, staying side by side with 12.
Yeah,
crossing the finish line here. Great eyes by the 87.
Usually Robbie has a really good job jumping the gun on these guys, but the 87 was on that in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a great jump there. Now we're seeing them all single file up. And this is the important part. You want to try and stay in that draft. So look at these guys move around. They want to close up so you all can have a shot at winning this if it goes greens. Great battles for him second on back, but Robbie trying to keep everything behind him going out of turn 4.
And it looks like we have a little bit of a mix-up in the back, but everyone's clean. No one hit the wall. Nothing to worry about too much.
Good to see because we got some good battles forming up here. The 88 stuck on the outside right now. The 22 and the 2 trying to freight train him. And right now, look at these guys at the front, though. The front 2 moving around, shifting lanes, trying to break each other's momentum. Not able to get a good run yet. The 87 can't, so the 12 maintains a lead for now.
Caden Atkins pinching off the 88 into the wall. It's getting a little hairy out there.
5 laps to go. That's what it'll do it to you. So now the 88 falls in line back to about 6th place, if not 7th.
Yeah.
Now they're single file through the top 7.
And it looks like, honestly, the 87 and the 18 need to group up and get around Rabbiati if they can make it.
Yeah, the first thing is about getting there. And then the second thing would be trying to pass him. And the clock is ticking to try and even do that. Just getting there, the clock is ticking. You're going to have to move him around to get his momentum to break if you want to try and get past Robbie right now.
Yeah, and the 87 clipping the apron again. He's a little bit all over the place.
He's pushing. I mean, you're pushing you're kind of, I don't want to say it in a negative way because that's a negative connotation, pushing the issue, but you're trying to use as much of that low line as you can, and sometimes you're going to go over, and it's just the nature of racing here.
Definitely, but you can see him really fighting for it. He's not really giving it up in any manner.
Time.
He's going for it. And
it's
good move by the number 2, getting around the number 09, Andrew Ruiz.
Slowly, this race is coming together. And by the way, don't look now. Tie lap times for Rabbiati and the 87 there.
Oh my
Both
gosh.
running 29.204. Those two are on top of each other right now. Still not the fastest of the race.
Oh, and we have an accident. I believe we just saw. Yep. We're going to go to a green-white checkered.
That's going to make things more spicy.
Yeah, let's go ahead and run that replay and see what happened out there. I want to say that was the number 13 was caught up in that one. Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah, bummer. All right, so I found out what happened, and this one's going to be a little rough. So, here we go. So watch Ruben Garcia in the number 88. He comes up, the number 4 pushing his line a bit, and then he hits the wall and drops down, and then boom, gets turned, spins himself, the 4-cat, and then he catches the 13 there. That is a bummer. Oh, and Jack ramming into the back of him. Oh man, that is going to catch the field. So definitely 5 cars caught up in that. That is a bummer. And that is going to be our Carnage Core for tonight.
I'm looking back at that wreck. I mean, again, I don't know if the 88 just didn't know he had that much of a nose there. Because again, the 4 is pretty well established there, and
I think
down
he clipped the wall. So he definitely pushed himself up into the wall and then bounced off of it, I believe, and that's just kind of what it was. He was pinched a little bit, caught the wall, bounced down, and clipped the 4.
Gotcha.
That's still on, like, those are things that you can't really avoid sometimes. Someone's making a pass on you, and like you said, this is a tight track on those exits. So, if you want to try and give them the room, you're going to be riding really close to that wall. And sometimes the air disappears and it sucks you in.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate circumstance, especially at this stage of the race. You're coming down toward the end, you're making moves to try and get yourself in the best position you can, and unfortunately those things do happen, and
yeah,
it sucks to see that happen, especially to someone who was running so well.
Yeah, he was running up in the front pack, 3rd, 2nd place for most of the race, and now he's running back in number 18, or in 18th place.
So now this race goes to a green-white checker, and if I'm a driver like Rabbiati, I'm like, oh my god, I just wanted this race to be over. So
I was so close. I had it. It was there.
Done. But then if I'm an 87, I'm like, I want another restart like I had last restart.
Yeah.
I want to capitalize on that and be able to stay side by side with him. So we'll see who can keep their mental wits about them and actually be able to get themselves in position, exiting. I'm thinking the key corner is going to be the exit of turn 2. Exiting that corner and being able to stay side by side with one another, that's going to be so vitally important
Yeah.
for particularly the 87,
And
being able to keep that spot open.
And someone to keep an eye on is the number 2, Caden Atkins. He's had a really good run. I just watched him in kind of like the corner of the camera move up from, I would say, 13th place to 5th. That last run, he's been jumping cars trying to make his way up there. So we might see Caden Atkins and Andrew Singleton sitting, waiting for a battle to ensue with both the 87 and the 18 and take advantage of that.
But the further back you are, the clock is not in your favor because it reduces the amount of time you have to make that play. So they're hoping that something happens between those two cars in front of them. They're hoping that the 12 and the 87 somehow get into each other.
Oh, yeah.
And it creates an opportunity for them to drive under them, get a run on the outside, pass them somehow to be able to take advantage. But there's not a lot of time on the clock left for them to do it. I think for them, that caution was inopportune for them because you kind of want to keep that race going green. Maybe you can take advantage of the couple laps you have left to close that gap and make a run at the end. But now you have a whole group of cars around you who are all thinking the same thing, that they want to have a shot at the front. So business is going to pick up really quickly on this restart.
And honestly, our top 7 guys are all killers. You know, we got Robbie Audi, Blaze McKinley. I haven't seen him race with us, but Robbie Audi, Carl Handwork, Andrew Singleton, Caden Atkins, Jaden Kurtasi, and Kevin Foster. That's your top 7. Those guys are all have a chance and are all good drivers. And you know, if something goes wrong, either one of them has an opportunity to capitalize on it and take over. So
absolutely,
this is going to be a really tight race for everyone up in that front pack. Even Kobe Wells in before. He's a great front runner too. So if anyone makes a mistake, you know, you have a lot of opportunistic people behind them. Kevin Foster and, you know, Caden Atkins, if you've seen, he's been pushing up the field the whole way too. So this is going to be a really tight run for a lot of drivers out there.
All right, setting up for the restart here. Robbie, still your leader in the 87, 18, 22, and 2. Rounding out the top 5 here at Charlotte. I mean, this is going to be a fun finish. You still have a couple of these green-white checkers. Looks like possible if something happens, but this could be the final restart of the race. So if there's any time to have a perfect jump, now is the time to do it. And that's what Robbie Adi's thinking about as they get ready to go into the exit of turn 4. He doesn't want the 87 to be aware of what he's doing again. So look for him maybe to shift things up a little bit as we get ready for this restart.
And I think the 22 might push the 87. So we'll see what happens.
Real stacked up there and solid jump. I think it's more what Robbie Adi wanted. A good jump there. Pulls away by about 2 to 3 car lengths side by side behind him, with the 87 and the 18 car Handwork peeking to the inside going into turns 1 and 2.
And Handwork getting around the number 87 right now on that inside line with a push. Caden Atkins trying to follow up with that.
Probably the most effortless pass he could make, Carl Handwork, getting a great run going out into turns 3 and 4. We'll see if the 87 goes with them.
Oh, he lifts a little bit.
They single file it up now, coming to the white flag. This will be the last lap if they do.
Oh, and we got contact in the back. Looks like Andrew Ruiz clipping the wall, catching Jimmy Gawker, his teammate. And we are cautioned again. Oh, man. Jimmy and Andrew are going to have some words shared with each other right now. That is a bummer.
And this race is not over.
No.
Much to the dismay of Robbie Adi.
So close, but no dice.
I mean, as the field is racked up behind a pace car, I know that feeling of you are coming to the start-finish line. You can see the flag man. He renders in front of you. You see the flag in his hand, and it's just yellow. It's like, no. So
why?
That's got to be frustrating, but wow. Now, we have to set this up. Okay, we've had another wreck involving some front runners, but now things have mixed up. Carl Handwork worked his way by the 87 fairly effortlessly.
And once again, Caden Atkins jumped up another position. Look at that. He's in 4th now. He was riding in 5th, made that small move.
Now I feel the question becomes, can Carl focus on this upcoming restart and be able to really anticipate that restart by Robbie? The reason why I say that is because depending on where you are on the track physically, like where your car is positioned, you can jump right there with the leader and see what he's doing and be able to anticipate it as well. But if you're next to him,
That's
it's
tough.
out of
Yeah.
your field of view. So you're having to kind of like position the car just a little bit back so you maybe see a bit of the nose and maybe can see that attitude adjustment when the car launches. I don't think that's not where he was last time. Now he's going to have to restart next to him. How is Carl going to approach this restart to try and maybe poach this win off Rabbiati?
Yeah, and from watching Carl drive, I don't think he's the fastest on the gun when it comes to a restart. I've seen some faster guys run in the Core Racing League on a restart. So with Robbie having kind of a quick draw there, I don't know if Carl's gonna be able to catch that.
Yeah, again, when you're that lead car, you are the lead driver who brings the field back to green. The control of the field is in your hands.
Yeah.
So you're playing, it's a mind game. You're practically playing mind games with the guy next to you. You're trying to figure out, okay, will he fall for this bait? Will he jump if I kind of creep forward and then go? It's going to be all kinds of little mind games here and there till when we get this restart. You're trying to get him not to be on your quarter panel going to one. You don't want that. Maybe if he challenges you going down the backstretch and gets that draft, you can position your car and throw that block going through 3 and 4. But really, you're racing on that restart for turn 1.
It looks like in the chat, Platt defending Carl, saying he's good on restarts, and Carl telling me to kiss something.
I'm not denying that Carl is good on restarts. I'm just posing.
I think Robbie's a little quicker to the draw on the restarts.
At least so far during this race. But again, to Carl's defense, which, yes, John, I will defend Carl here. Carl's defense, I haven't seen him have to face a restart next to Robbie so far during this race.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that he's going to be able to anticipate this restart and get a jump and be able to carry the momentum into turn 1. We just haven't seen it yet. So we'll see how it shakes out when we get ready for this restart, hopefully in the next lap.
Yeah. You're fine.
This has been
This
quite
has
the
been-
race.
Yeah, it's been really exciting. Good turnout. Small cautions here and there, but for most of the race towards the back end, that was really good driving.
I mean, again, at this stage of the race, you're going to see these kind of yellows where it's just coming down to the end. Everyone's trying to maximize track position. They want to get themselves in position to win this race, and these things are going to happen. So it's a shame when it happens to a lot of drivers who've been toward the front a lot of the day, but even those drivers who are caught up in it know at the end of the day you're going for it, or you are a victim of the circumstances of someone going for it, and it's just kind of what happens when we're out here racing.
All right, and the caution lights are off. Quick question, this is kind of out of the blue. Has anyone ever in racing history pinched off the inside guy and forced him to go into the pits? And is that a legal move?
I would say it's not legal because I guess technically you're performing an illegal maneuver.
Is
because
it?
you're preventing. I guess you'd be preventing the leader from bringing the field back to the green flag.
All right.
So, in theory,
Sorry,
I have never seen it, but
I
in
haven't either,
theory,
but it's just an interesting
I
thought.
you would argue that's an illegal maneuver because you're not allowing the leader to bring the field back to the green under their control. But if you want to make things spicy, I certainly can do it in the core race tonight.
Yeah, I think you should give that a shot.
I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
I've always wondered, like, because with racing and sports like these, all the contenders, we in any sport, you try to you ride that line very closely, and sometimes people do little dirty tricks to get that jump. And here we go with the green flag coming out.
Good jump, and everyone's still side by side, but Robbie able to break away. Now the 18 has to deal with the 87.
Yep.
2 laps to go yet again. Side by side, working in turn 22. Rabbiati about a 1-car advantage over the 87. Now single file through the front 7 as they come down to backstretch for what may be the second to last time. 18 steps to the outside, and now here comes the block.
Oh, solid move. Oh my gosh.
That'll open the door for the
Oh,
87
and we got contact
to
to the number 10 going to the back of the 2. Is that going to put him out, though? Good recovery.
side and
Whoa!
Spin
Spin from the
and
87. Oh, no!
Tons of contact throughout the
Oh,
top 5.
Carl diving down, clipping the wall. Is that going to keep him clean, though?
Well, we're still green right now.
We
He took
are.
the white flag. So, took the white flag. Battles brewing behind them, though, after all that mix-up. Man, 22 into 2 battling side by side. 11 into 3. The 96
And the
and
10 is gunning out. Look at that. Oh, and another accident. Just, oh, my gosh.
more crashes coming to the line. Rabiati, a comfortable win away from all the chaos
Yeah.
behind him.
Wow.
But plenty of wrecks after the white flag.
Yeah, let's I want to go catch that last wreck that had Kevin Foster in it. That was gnarly. So let's go ahead and roll a Carnage report, and then we'll get back to Robbie doing some laps for this victory. But he gets into the side of it, the number 11. Boom, clips. Number 11 just goes up the wall, upside down, and the 3 just goes spinning. Wow.
I mean, that's just a product of the hard racing on that last turn, last lap. Everyone just kind of tried to fight for the position there, and wow. Huge crash. Some drivers who dodged all of that, able to grab some extra spots there as they got away from those crashing cars.
Yeah.
Wow, what a finish.
That was an insane run by a lot of guys. Good driving out there. Rough run at the end, but through the middle section of the race, that was some really solid driving by everyone.
Wow, what an outcome there. I mean, again,
Did
we talk
not
about
see that.
restarts. Talk about restarts. Robbie got exactly the restart that he needed at that point of the race. Was able to get a solid jump and at least put himself about a car length ahead of Carl Hamilton to be able to protect his lead and be able to protect it at least going into turn 3. I think that was really the only thing that mattered to him going into that restart was protecting his lead going into that corner, because then you know that Carl might have to be battling with drivers behind him and thus granting him a bit of a reprieve from all of that battle.
Yeah, no. And so our top finishers is going to be the number 12, Rabiati, taking first place. Second place going to Jaden Kurtasi in the number 10. And then Kobe Wells, third place. Number 4, and then Caden Atkins right behind him and taking fourth in the number 2. So, wow. A lot of our top runners was dropping off the very end after getting into it, but that was some tight racing.
Absolutely. I mean, that was classic Charlotte Motor Speedway at the end. I mean, that's just going for it. You're going for the win. You're going for the top 5, top 7, and wow. A lot of things happened there. Wow. What can you even say?
Yeah, no, that was a good run. So let's go ahead and line up our our winners, putting them in the booth, and then we'll get ready to start the interviews. Waiting for Kobe Wells to jump in here. In a general. Colby, if you're listening, get in the general chat so I can pull you. All right, going to go ahead and start off with third place. That's going to be Colby Wells. Let's pull him into the booth. Hi, Colby. This is the booth. You copy?
Gotcha.
Wow. You snuck in there.
Yeah, can't believe that happened.
Yeah, that was a lot of those guys in the front were having a really tough time. You know, you were riding before that first green, white checkered, I believe 7th or 8th place. But yeah, like I said, everyone in the top, pretty much that top 10, were all in the spot to win, really. You guys are all good drivers, solid drivers. You've been out there almost every race and have been able to, put up either a podium or to be in that top 5. So it's a tough run for a lot of you guys out there.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, and coming off that first one from last race, so this is another back-to-back podium finish. Going into the next race, how do you think you're going to handle that?
Well, it's a road course, so we'll see how that goes. You don't really know what to expect until you get there. So.
All right. Michael, you got any questions for him?
Kind of curious how your car was handling out there. I mean, we had the first couple cautions there, but then we had the long runs. So, how did your car handle during those longer runs?
Well, I'm not very fond of fixed setups, so I was struggling with the tightness of it. It got really awkward entering corners, and you'd be perfectly fine until you got about center of the corner of 3 and 4, and then it would just shoot up for no reason. So the short runs I was alright, and then long runs I kind of started to figure it out with the help of my teammate, or quote unquote teammate, and it was just on from there, and I got lucky at the end there.
Well, good job. Way to adapt to the situation. So, congratulations on your solid top 5 finish. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Is there anyone you'd
Thank
like
you,
to
guys.
thank before we move you up?
Just thank you guys for putting the broadcast on, and thank you to Andrew for putting the league on.
You're welcome, and thank you for racing, man. You know, we wouldn't be out here without all you guys putting on a great show for us.
Thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and grab our second place. That's going to be Jaden Kratasi. Hey, Jaden, you're in the booth. You copy?
Yep, I got you.
All right, so, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That snuck in there. I think I really didn't. For the first restart, where were you at? I think you were what, P12, P11?
Yep. Oh no, actually, it was further than that. After, wait, you're talking about the very first restart, I'm guessing?
Yeah, the very first restart.
Yep.
Yeah, so you and Andrew Reese had a good run the whole race, and then coming into that first restart, you're sitting in the back, and then I honestly didn't see you eat up the field. That was some amazing driving, and I need to go rewatch that because you must have been dodging bullets out there.
Pretty much. It was a fun time though. I mean, I had some controversy with a couple drivers out there. I don't really want to mention names.
Yeah,
but yeah, because I don't want to stir the pot,
Well, there was a lot of blocks being thrown. Some people definitely doing their best to try and block any moves, and then also really poking and pushing to find themselves out in the track. So it's definitely probably got a little heated out there for some of the drivers.
Yeah, it definitely was. But it was just a great race. All in all, we had an extremely fast car. I think if we would have been in a better position on that restart, I think we would have probably had something for Robbie. But when I went to pass Carl though, he was so slow because I think he got caught up in something off of 4.8 there, and then I went to go pass him. He tries blocking me, so I was like, I'm already committed down to the bomb, so I had to send it through the grass. So I was kind of laughing right there because that was kind of funny in my opinion. But yeah, it was really tight setup. I was just able to power through with it though. I've drove tight cars for a little bit on here to understand what I needed to do. But Midwest Motorsports, we had a good day for me. Andre had a decent day. Jimmy, the bad luck still exists for him.
You got both of those guys together, and their numbers are subtracted, and they just took the wall.
Oh, I know. It's something about those two numbers right there.
Yeah,
I think it's the 9s in them.
You can't have a. It's almost like Snake Eyes. You're rolling next to each other.
It really is.
Boom.
Yeah.
Crash. There can only be one.
Yeah, but it wasn't a bad race today. I'm definitely glad I came second with the race we were having. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good finish for what was going out in the field. For the size of the field, how'd you feel everyone drove out there?
It was mixed, honestly. I'd see a lot of rubbing. I mean, I kind of pinched Andrew against the wall, Andrew Combs, so I'm sorry about that, man.
Yeah, I saw all that damage on him.
Yeah, I didn't really mean to pinch him, honestly. I meant to just get close to him, kind of. But it was kind of a mixed results for how everyone drove this race. A lot of people, especially. There was a ton of people in this race compared to what I usually remember.
Yeah, usually
but it was
we're
just a
running
good day,
field
though.
of 13 or so. Michael, you want to jump in?
So you mentioned that you kind of got used to driving tighter setup. So how did you get adapted to this track as it kind of played on, especially on that long run as the tires fell off? How did you get used to that as you went through the race?
Well, all day, me and some of the ISRC drivers, we've been testing all day long. And I feel like that kind of helped me out. And then once I could get a rhythm out on the track to save tires and stay fast, I felt like I was sitting in a pretty good spot.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, congratulations on the runner-up finish. Good work, and look forward to seeing what you do next week.
All right,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you have any sponsors or anyone you'd like to thank?
Yep, I was just gonna mention that actually. I gotta thank Midwest Customs. Go check out the race version diecast. I'll be up for pre-order of Robbie Audis here shortly. Community-wide Federal Credit Union, Fast Racing Network, R&B Car Company, Preferred Warranties, TechWorks Trailer Sales, A&N Extensions, ZachHacks.com. Make sure you guys get those. Make sure you go get those. ZachHacks.weebly.com. And also, I gotta thank you guys for broadcasting.
Thank you so much for being out here, man. You're always a joy to watch out on the track, and hopefully you can get whatever tension is between both Andrew Ruiz and Gawker straightened out, because it definitely didn't look good out there.
No, it didn't. But yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting those. I hope you guys enjoyed it from the booth.
Oh yeah, we had a blast. Thanks for being out here, man.
No problem.
All right, next is gonna be Robbie Audi, our first place winner. Hey, Robbie, do you have a copy?
I think the answer is no.
That is a negative on that one. Alrighty then. We'll give him one more second. Oh, it looks like he's gonna. Hey, Robbie, do you have a copy?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem, man. Well, honestly, hell of a run today. Great driving. You had a lot of people pushing behind you, like the 87 and 88, trying to just get around you, and you did a good job defending them. Would get by, they'd get side by side with you, and then you would just come back and overtake them again.
Yeah, it was just, a matter of saving tires earlier in the run. Cause I felt like I was fast going long runs. So this first 10 to 15 laps were really crucial for the tires and myself. So, with the 88, I was just trying to match his pace. I wasn't going to let him get by me, but I was going to say I wasn't going to pull away from him, right? Because I just wanted to save as much tire. I knew he was burning his tires up because I think he caught me in like a lap. And it was just he fell back. So
Yeah.
It was just a matter of managing the gap. And, I had fun. Me and Sean got into an incident, and I had to, fight my way back up. And it was pretty fun. I'll tell you that. There were some scary, sketchy moments, but it ended up okay.
Yeah, you'd see them start to poke their head, and I think you handled that outside line very well. You looked really comfortable out there, kind of just, if anyone got ahead of you, you'd just take the outside right next to him, and then, cross over and slide in on him coming in out of that turn.
Yeah, I found some speed up there. I found some speed up there racing Singleton in a practice earlier today, and Singleton kind of hit on it too. I think me and him were the only two cars who could really roll the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like I was faster on the top. It's just I didn't want to run up there because I didn't want people to find all that speed.
Yeah,
you see towards the end, I think it was with the 87, I just sailed it down into one. There was a lot of grip, especially because nobody was running there either.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of found the grip and only used it when I needed to, kind of to hide it and to save it for the end of the race. But I got to give Blaze credit. Oh my God, he beat me off of pit road. I was shocked. He came on me out of nowhere. I couldn't even block him. He was so much faster off the pit road.
Yeah, I know.
Holy crap.
I think Michael caught that. I was watching the pit road, and then I switched cameras, and Michael was like, "Dude, the 87 just cleared Robbie on that pit."
Yeah, it was I didn't even have I was conservative. Well, I wasn't gonna pit, and then everyone started yelling pitting in. So I'm like, might as well just pit. So I pit, but I hit the brake too early. So then the game, I think I let up some time coming in, just being conservative. But in my pit stall, I think I did fine. And then with that number one box, it is so bad on green flag pit stops because you hit the gas and then. You know what I'm saying? You don't even get up to 45 until you're off of pit road.
Yeah.
So it's actually a disadvantage. But he told me he held it wide open on the apron. I was half throttle. I don't know how, but I was just what? He caught me off guard for a second. I was holy crap. And the 88 was really fast on the short run. It's just I haven't raced this league this season, to be honest with you, but
yeah, no, I know. I mentioned that you raced the first race and then you've been kind of gone for a little bit, but I think that was a good return by you.
Yeah, well, in my defense, I asked my team owner Darius, I'm like, Darius, is there a race? Is there a race last weekend? And he's like, no, that's an off week. So I said, okay, well, if I'm not going to be racing this league, might as well go to work. And then he says, wait, there's not an off week. I'm like, I already called it. Like, so I couldn't race. But,
Oh man, yeah, you missed the off week, and then you it bounced.
Yeah. It was a fun race, I think the finish was a bit all over the place, but for the most part, we had some fast guys. I really wish I could have raced Carl Hanover straight up. I think he was one of the faster cars, to be honest with you, and I love racing him. I think he hates me, to be honest, but I love racing him. He's fast, and it's just a bummer I couldn't race him. I mean, I've had great battles with him before, and also Andrew Singleton. I cannot tell you the last time Andrew Singleton was this fast anywhere. Like, I was in practice with him. I'm like, what? Wait, what? Like,
honestly,
he's going away from me.
He's been getting faster this season. He's been one of like the top guys just out there every single time. So I think he's been putting in more time at the tracks, and it's paying off.
Yeah, like, Singleton's one of those guys where if he puts in the time, he'll be fast. But like, if he doesn't put in the time, it's such like a big gap with Singleton. And I checked the website right before he pulled me up. That's why I left real quick. I just need one more win at time in all-time wins. So he's had that title for a bit too long, in my opinion.
You're gonna try and gun for it this season?
Definitely.
All right, good to see you out there, man. Michael, you got any questions?
Hello, Robbie. How are you? It's been a while. So, question I have for you is restarts. You were out front a lot of this race, particularly during cautions. How did you approach those restarts? Because it seemed like, for the most part, you had a good eye on being able to get the jump on the field.
Robbie?
And apparently his answer is silent meditation.
Oh, hello?
Sorry about that.
Sorry. My mic cut out. What'd you say?
Is that how you approach talking to me again for the first time in months? Hello, Robbie. It's Mike. It's the soup.
Mike can't. I knew that Discord name from somewhere. I'm like, why do I know that? What's
Hello,
up, Mike?
friend.
Were you in the C Fix? That's a story for a different time.
Different time, yes. And
Yeah,
probably,
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about those restarts. You were out front a lot during those restarts, and it seemed like you maybe had a bit of a mental mind game going on. You were able to get those jumps on everyone. Walk us through how you approach restarts here.
So restarts here are pretty simple. Basically, what I did here was I would either go early or in the middle. You don't want to go too late. And I would just pretty much watch I would watch the second place car when he hit the gas, and then I would go, and he would have to hit the brakes. That's when I took off. But one of the restarts, I was towards the end. It was like it was the one before all the green white checkers, like with like 10 to go or
It was
something.
the 87 pacing you.
Yeah. So I told the 87 I'm going early because I did not want that 88 behind me. Not because he's a dirty driver. He's clean and all of what I know, but he was really fast in the short run. So I'm like, I'd rather have like a dogfight in the 03 with the 87 than the 88. So I told him I was going early, and that was good. But I mean, I don't really know Blaze, but he's I don't know if he's improved, but what I used to think of him is a lot different now.
Yeah, I've never seen him race before, so this is a first for me.
Yeah, and Sean Leisure, like, I never used my faster pair. I'm not like blaming anybody, but like I like put it into the fence, and I was like, I thought I was done, and then I wasn't. I had like a little bit of engine damage. I think it was like a 24. I was like 1, but it just wasn't affecting me. I didn't want to use my faster pair. How we were racing, so.
Yeah.
Rip.
I think we just lost him again.
Just a bit.
It sounds like his mic's disconnecting just a tad bit.
my God.
Oh no, he bounced out.
No, whoops.
Oh well. Hopefully he comes back. All right. Well. Oh, there he is. I'll pull him back one more time. Hey, Robbie. Looks like we lost you there.
Yeah, I should probably go on Wi-Fi, to be honest. Too late.
Well, let's close it out a little bit. That way we don't drop you.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we finish the broadcast?
Couple guys, just Darius Becker for racing. I gotta thank him for drafting me, believing in me. I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna miss a couple races, but we're gonna win some this year. I gotta thank Andrew Combs. He's done an incredible job. What he's done with this league, one, he's had it for such a long time, which is very impressive.
Yes.
And two, this is some of the best racing I've seen here, and numbers wise too. So that's very good. Gotta thank you guys, my old buddy Mike Campbell, for broadcasting, and obviously, Death by Miss Media. I don't really know your name. Sorry.
It's Randall.
Randall.
No problem, man.
Oh, I knew that. And next week we're going to a road course I have never raced, so it should be interesting. And stay safe. Don't get the coronavirus.
Will do. Yeah, I'm out in SoCal, so it's a hotbed for me. But but yeah, thank you for coming out, man. It's always good to see you race, and honestly, this race was really awesome up with you up in the front and playing defense against a lot of those guys. So hopefully we get to see that next at the road course. And once again,
If you see this at a road course, then I'll be shocked. Just saying. But have a good one.
Yeah, I think the road course would be a good turnout. So we'll see what happens.
Yep, definitely. All right, you guys take care. Adios.
You too, man. Have a good day. All right, and that's going to be it for tonight. Getting ready for in an hour to go to the Core Racing Series, so don't forget to check that out. Once again, a solid run for the Pro Circuit. And Michael, I can't thank you more for popping in here. It's always a pleasure to be broadcasting with you, and I believe we'll be going double or back to back on this doubleheader. And
absolutely,
I can't wait to do the Daytona prototypes with you. So this is going to be a blast. Thank you again for everyone tuning in. Don't forget to check out Big Evil Designs, or BED, if you want to get any wraps for your cars. And I hope everyone has a good evening. Go take a bathroom break. We'll be right back with some more racing action for you guys.